Welcome to Recalibrate. I am Himanshu Jain. For many of us, doing fine just isn't enough. On this show, we talk to those who shifted from stable jobs to building real estate, businesses, and true legacies. If you are ready to pivot and own your future, let's recalibrate. Fellow viewers, today we have a special guest, a guest who is a longtime friend of mine. Before I introduce him, I just want to put a disclaimer here. He has a very wicked sense of humor. So this show is going to be a lot of life, lot of jest, lot of fun. So just be prepared. And I'm excited to share this story with you all. So as an introduction, I just want to let you know, like from corporate engineer to clean energy entrepreneur, Prashant Srivastava's journey is one of bold recalibration. After building his technical skills, his engineering skills at ONGC power generation plant in India, and then at Autodesk, one of the world's leading design and engineering software companies, Prashant made the leap that many dream of but few attempt. He walked away from a stable corporate career to build something of his own. He founded Smart Geotech Inc., a California based technology and energy solutions company, and never looked back. Today, Prashant is at the forefront of two of the most critical sectors of our time: renewable energy and smart infrastructure. Through Smart Geotech, he designs and delivers microgrid and solar energy solutions that help businesses and municipalities generate clean power, reduce grid dependence, and future proof their energy needs. His story is a testament of what happens when an engineer stops building someone else's vision but starts building his own.
Hi, today what you're seeing is a complete off the grid microgrid system of a golf course here in San Ramon, California. It's called Bridges Golf Course. Um, it's about 256 kilowatt system, generates over a megawatt every day, and the goal was to take everything off the grid. It has its clubhouse and golf courses, and then there's a drive range. So we designed this system. What you're seeing here, one of its kind, a fully island mode system.
So, Prashant, welcome to the show. And I'm excited to have you here and have fun in this session. So, how do you feel being on the show?
खुश तो तुम बहुत हो गए आज जिसने कभी ट्विटर को नहीं देखा
Yeah.
जिसने कभी फेसबुक पे फेस नहीं दिखाया आज आज वो तुम्हारे पॉडकास्ट पर है
So, I told you, right? This is what's going to be the show today. So,
Wow.
anyway.
Thank you, Himanshu. It's an honor, and yes, we know to each other for a long time, and I'm happy to share.
Yeah. So I want to start from your background, maybe your younger days, how you got interested in engineering, how that happened.
Actually, I grew up in an engineering world right from the beginning. Dad was in that field, and he was building a lot of plants for India. And every day in our house, it's all engineering, it's all construction. So it was nothing new. I believe I knew already since early in my school days that I'm going to be an engineer. There was no surprise. There's no way I could be a doctor. Although I can get you anybody's heart. But that was quite natural for me to go for engineering. Yeah, the journey was fantastic. I grew up in many cities. Dad used to get transferred. So I was able to adopt new environment pretty quickly. I think the foundation, I would say the sports was major factor. I played a lot of tracks and everything, and obviously debates and dramas and acting was a major part of growing up in there. During my school time, I think those are all together makes a foundation of your personality. And but I never left that. I kept some part with me all the time, even when I was working in India or when I moved to America. So that's how my journey was, very normal, like anybody's life, nothing very extraordinary. But yeah, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I remember all my old school time. It was fantastic. Those days were great. We
Yeah.
had limited resources to enjoy.
Yeah. Good, good. So yeah, I've known you for so long. I think we became friends somewhere around 2001, 2001. Yeah, when we moved to St. Louis, that's
Yeah.
when we came to know you. And I've seen you and I've watched you for so long. You are like party you go to or any community you are there. You are the funny bone. You are the one who makes everybody laugh. So how did that sense of humor, just talk about how did you build on that? Is it something which is natural or is it something that you worked on? Or how did that happen? Because I'm curious to know on that.
बस आई थिंक मुझे कोई बुला ले एक बार बट आई टेल यू हिमांशु रुलाएगा क्या इतनी अच्छी अच्छी बात पता नहीं अब अपने आप नेचुरली होता गया आई थिंक मुझे जो टीचर्स मिले जो मेरी हिंदी की टीचर थी मुले मैडम उन्हें याद करता हूँ आज मैं उन्होंने मेरा ये टैलेंट बहुत पहले देखा था कई बार वो कहती थी कि यू शुड गो ऑन द स्टेज यू शुड डू थिंग्स और ये सब पार्ट ऑफ द बिल्डिंग था सो जैसा मैंने कहा हम लोग बहुत मूव करते थे और मुझे हर टाइम एडजस्ट होना पड़ता था तो आई थिंक वो बहुत बड़ा रोल प्ले किया और आई जस्ट लाइक टू बी व्हाट आई एम ऐसे नेचुरली हो जाता है तो आई डोंट नो उसको मैं कैसे उसको कहूँ बट इट वाज यू नो और आप जैसे लोग मिल जाते हैं ऐसे खुशी होती है इतने सालों से हम लोग दोस्त हैं और इसी तरह से बहुत सारे लोगों से हम मिलते गए कुछ लोग याद रहते हैं कुछ लोग नहीं लेकिन सबसे सीखने को मिलता है चाहे वो छोटा हो उम्र में चाहे वो बड़ा हो उससे ज़्यादा नॉलेज हो या कम नॉलेज हो ऐसी तो कोई बात नहीं लेकिन आई थिंक दैट्स व्हाट आई एब्जॉर्ब पीपल यू नो उन वेदर जो भी लैंग्वेज है मैं हैदराबाद गया तो आई लर्न तेलुगु मेरे बंगाली बॉसेस हुआ करते थे अर्ली इन इंजीनियर जब हम काम करते थे इंडिया में तो हमने बंगाली सीखी तो एब्जॉर्ब करता हूँ लोगों को वो लोग क्या करते हैं दैट्स आई थिंक बस वो जब अंदर आ जाता तो फिर उनकी तरह और उनके लिए बात कर लेते तो काम चल जाता है बेसिकली
So tell us in terms of how you came to US, what brought you to US, and how your journey has been from there on.
प्लेन में आए थे प्लेन में बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग स्टोरी है अमेरिका हम तो कंप्यूटर साइंस से थे आई वाज स्ट्रक्चरल इंजीनियर all I was doing is construction in India and also started a little bit my journey as a business but there was always something was there in me was telling me that I got to do something different I didn't know what it was and then one fine morning I realized and met few people and thought that I should be part of the software industry my classmates were in there in the software industry they moved to America so I knew what's going on and then I made my journey to United States or first time I landed in Chicago.
Okay. Kab tha? When was this?
It was in 2000, early 2000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
बड़ी funny story है बताऊँ?
हाँ बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. I want to hear all those funny stories.
So प्लेन से बाहर उतरे और शिकागो में और सामने ही बार था.
अच्छा.
तो मैंने कहा यार भैया अमेरिका पहुंच गए तो पहला क्या चीज करना चाहिए तो आई जस्ट वेंट टू द बार और आ रहे थे हम गुजरात से ड्राई स्टेट से तो वो प्लेन वाला बियर बहुत मज़ा नहीं आया था तो गया और सीधे फर्स्ट थिंग मैं गया बार में बहुत बड़ा बार था और से देखा तो एक बहुत लंबा सा नाम लिखा हुआ था मैंने कहा बॉस इसी को ऑर्डर कर देते हैं तो मैंने उसको अपने उस टाइम पे जो मेरा एक्सेंट था उससे मैंने उसको बोला कि कैन आई गेट दैट बर्ड वीजा listen, I knew that I'm going to be landing in that bird visa city, St. Louis, Missouri one day. But yeah, that was the beginning. I came and started working for a company called ANSYS. And I believe that time NASA was working on their spacecraft and they were working very extensively on testing the tiles and all that.
Okay.
That's what the journey started, working on those kind of software. It was very intense engineering software, all finite element mechanics and a lot of calculations and theoretical theory and formulas and I have to validate that one. So that's how the journey started in America. But I kept my engineering aspect on that.
Okay. So that's how you came to, that's when you came to Chicago. And then what brought you to St. Louis? When was that? I think that was 2000.
Yeah, I think in 2000 from Chicago, actually, I went to Pittsburgh to work on that
Okay.
project. And I tell you, I was blown away by the peers and all the managers, and everybody was welcoming. And they knew I've just landed, so was not driving in America at that time. So I was getting a lot of support. And one of the managers, he told me that it's a short duration project, Prashant, but you need to find something long term. And he said that you should try for Autodesk.
Okay.
And I had just one phone call. Next thing I know that I'm flying to San Francisco
Okay.
after completing the project. And they hired me. As soon as I got the offer, they told me they acquired a company in St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay.
And that company the product was about the power generation and distribution system.
Okay.
And I said, sure. I didn't know anything about St. Louis, Missouri. And I landed in
Okay.
St. Louis. And that's when I stayed for almost 3 years when I met
Okay.
you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
So that's good. So yeah, I think we met in 2000 and we have been friends since then. And we had very good times till you were there. I think we knew hardly few people because we have also just moved to St. Louis in 2001, end of 2001. So it was a special friendship and a special bond that we had built at that point of time. So Prashant, so tell me about how did you how did you get into business? What is it that forced you to recalibrate your journey and get into business? Because I think that's a very interesting aspect of your journey.
As I told you, working with Autodesk or even before in India, I always kept my interest in engineering world. While I was working for Autodesk, I started gauging the the industry, and being a product line manager, I knew what gaps were there in the market. So I wanted to do something very different, not what I was working at Autodesk or what I've learned before, something very different. And but I didn't know when I will do that. So to answer your question, what triggered? Yes, the layoffs triggered. And the layoff is the most horrible thing when you're single earning member. As we all know, we go through this process.
Yeah.
And see the unknowns of what happens to your family when you are the only earning member. It shakes you
Yeah.
from inside, from your core. Was that the trigger point? I think that was a trigger point. But that was not enough. The thing is that I wanted to build something meaningful. And with no funding, with no prior business commitment, I didn't know where to start with. So I started reading about who's doing what in this industry. And then I had conceived an idea in my head that what I wanted to do for the city, for the community. That was first thing came to my mind. So the story is my wife was traveling India, I was alone. And my then company Autodesk was going through the layoff. I was still working there. I went to Golden Gate Bridge. I remember that evening, and I looked at the Golden Gate Bridge from the top. And then I realized in my final year of engineering and structural engineering, we did study about that bridge, about Golden Gate Bridge. And in 1936, what was achieved was incredible. A human race can do impossible things. And that gave me a lot of motivation on that day that I got to do something.
Yeah.
Got to take some risk, do something different.
Yeah.
And after that, when my wife came back and I spoke to her and I asked how much money we have.
Okay.
She was like confused. She just got back and like, what? I said, yeah, I don't want to work for an organization. I want to do something myself. And so she asked me that, do we have a business or is something in your mind? I said, no. Do we have a product? I said, no. Then what? Then I said, we're going to build it. So she was very was very supportive. Like I said, you can get support from business people, investors, and financial help, but that's not enough. You need to get support from your family. And my wife was the biggest factor for me to jump into the business. Everything I've done so far, it's because of her being on my side every day, every single day. So on that day, I got a good support and I said, yeah, let's jump. And next day, I knew that I'm not going to work and I didn't know what to do. And that's how the journey started. And
Yeah. So you said that your background is your father was an engineer, and all throughout you have been in a family of engineers and people who have been in jobs, right? Nobody was in business. So my question to you is, when somebody with this kind of background you have, and when you are thinking of getting into business, I'm sure there would be a lot of resistance that you would have. You would have some resistance which will come from internally, and then you would have some resistance that you have from your, as you said, family, friends, and external resistances. So, talk to us about what kind of resistance you ran into and how did you handle that?
I think good question. Actually, Himanshu, if I look back and think about that aspect, yes, my father, my mom, my sister, my brother-in-law, everybody, it's not that they were not supportive. Everybody was, I could feel the sense of feeling scared about the future of my and my family, and like why I'm making this big jump and why I'm doing this. But everybody was supportive, but the resistance was after I started building the software, after I started showing to the customers. And oh, I always say, a lot of people when say IT sector, so it's not infrastructure technology. IT has two parts. One is the integration technology. That's what I called IT.
Yeah, so not just information
yeah,
technology, it's
it's an
more.
integration. That's a majority of the people that you see in this world are part of that. There are only few who work on the product built from scratch. And selling a product is like manufacturing a product and going to the market. It's not consulting, it's actually selling. It's the hardest thing, I tell you. You can have the best product with you, the great technology, great vision, very difficult to sell. And I felt it big time. We presented our many potential customers that we thought they would convert. Failure was amazing. 2 years, not even a single contract we could write. And we kept building. One of my programmer who wrote a great white paper, I read him and he became a business partner. He's a very intelligent guy. We all started writing this software, coming out really nice. But it was very difficult to sell. Problem was that we were targeting city and big municipality, utility companies. The problem was that we couldn't convince them really they are into pain. They were living with that pain, but they didn't realize it. And selling to that segment, when your name is not Oracle or Microsoft, IBM, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They just think that how this product is going to survive for that long. But yeah, there was a lot of resistance, but you keep looking for it and you will find a success. And I did find my first success.
So when did that turnaround happen for you and how?
Oh, that 2 years, like I said, 2 years, we didn't get anything, no checks, nothing. My wife once said, how long your hobby is going to last with little money we left with. Fortunately, we bid here in Missouri State. We did bidding.
Okay.
And I don't know how this has happened. We beat a lot of big company. We won that contract.
Okay.
And that was a great feeling on that day. And we started building some software around it. And the customer was very happy. And that's how our first break happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. So you got a break with the company here in St. Louis, right? So that was your first break, right? So in this journey, how did your mindset from being an employee to an owner or an entrepreneur, how has your mindset changed over a period of time? Just talk to us in terms of how the shift has happened. What kind of shift has happened in your thought process from being an employee to being an owner and an entrepreneur?
Himanshu, to be frank, it's not that I learned the business here. When I was in India, when I was working for Lloyd Steel projects, I think at the age of 26, after doing this big, huge project in the oil sector, realized that I can do the business too. I did start a construction business for the heavy industry, and that's my first exposure. I was a subcontractor of the main contractor. There was no way you could get a big contracts like that in India. So I did started putting my own money and then started building my own team, and there was a lot of failure. The capital is hard to raise, and then they expect you to finish for it and then get paid, and that was hard, but I learned a lot there. And I was able to finish that project at a certain time, but then, oh my gosh, it was a lot of failure there, Himanshu. And by end of my journey, about 1.5 years of that business was disaster. Okay. I could not manage people. I could not manage material. I could not manage schedule. It was hard to understand how to do the business at that time. But I tell you, that was the foundation for me.
Yeah, learning, right?
Great learning.
Yeah.
When I started America and my business, I knew what I don't have to do.
Yeah.
I was quite sure about it. And so to answer your question, mindset in a way that everybody says if business, the risk and the business goes hand to hand, right? That's what everybody does it. So I would say, oh, my taking risk ability got boosted up, or whatever the term it is.
तो ये आप
लेने लगा risk.
हाँ रिस्क लेने लगे राइट
रिस्क लेना तो एक, आई थिंक रिस्क लेना एक चांस नहीं, एक कला है, राइट? इट्स एन आर्ट, और वो आर्ट ऐसा है कि कोई जिसे कहते हैं ना कि कैलकुलेटिव रिस्क होता है एग्जिस्टिंग बिजनेस में, आप एक्सपेंड करते हो, जब आपका बिजनेस ही स्टार्ट हो रहा है उसमें क्या कैलकुलेशन, 100% risk is a problem. I ran with the problem, not just the risk. But yes, जैसे जैसे business grow और magnitude change बढ़ता गया risk लेने का.
Yeah.
But बाद में जब business समझ में आने लगा, so I knew how to navigate my ideas and how to change the directions also from the business that I was started doing it.
So yeah, that's a good point. I think that gives me a segue to my next question. So you mentioned that you change the direction of your business. My understanding is nowadays you're not just doing software. I think what you're doing is you are doing a microgrid complete solution for the business, right? What you're doing nowadays. So I think it'll be helpful if you can just talk about what microgrid is and your journey there, right? How did you get into it, and how you just said, right? How did you give direction to your business rather than just being in the software development? How did you get into the complete solutioning on that?
So Himanshu, the software actually gave me the path to microgrid. That's what happened. I think I was presenting somewhere in San Francisco. Most of my businesses, if I see, were either was to save energy, save community, save environment, that kind of thing, all in that area. That's what I work with. And I was presenting, and I met a gentleman who was sitting in that audience. He came to me and said, there's a gentleman, is a big businessman, and he's a billionaire, a lot of money. He said he's trying to do a concept of microgrid, and he wants a lot of people to be part of that, from software to hardware to different kind of ideas, a different way to store energy, produce energy. Would you like to come and see us? And I said, sure. I said, look, I'm just the software. I don't do this whole thing. He said, no, just we need somebody to software to build around it. And I said, sure. So I went and I showed them what I have done, and I don't know what the gentleman saw in my solution. He said, yeah, this can be converted into a microgrid technology. Fortunately, I had an experience in the electrical engineering. Talking about that, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to tell you something. जैसे मूवी होता है ना, जिसमें आपको, अगर आप एक्टर हैं तो आपको डायरेक्शन भी मालूम होना चाहिए, आपके म्यूजिक सेंस भी होना चाहिए, सब कुछ होना चाहिए, तब जाके आप एक स्क्रीन पे आप जब आते हो तो आप कन्विंसिंग लगते हो, बिकॉज आपको सारी चीजें मालूम है. ऐसे इंजीनियर का काम है. सो जब फर्स्ट प्रोजेक्ट मेरा हुआ, सो आई वाज सिविल इंजीनियर, लेकिन जब हम पहुंचे वहां पे तो मालूम पड़ा आई नीड टू लर्न एवरीथिंग. I am the prerequisite for mechanical and electrical and piping and everything. So my boss at that time said, you have to learn all those, discipline. That's when it started. And within like few months, I knew that all the degree that we get in our own discipline, that's just the smallest part what you're going to do next, right?
Yeah.
So you must have the holistic approach of everything, right? And I think that experience when my early age, when I learned, I remember that. I said, even though you do any business, you can do a part knowledge you might have, but you need to understand the whole trade of that, right?
Yeah.
When the opportunity came to me to go and, do this renewable energy solution, then I realized now I need to understand the mechanical part of the electrical engineering, which is the big gears, electric panels and distribution panels and transformers and all those kind of things that comes as a part of it, and then build a software. Then I realized, I have to start everything from scratch again for this particular thing. I started making team together, and a lot of time I designed myself, a lot of like initial conceptual designs. But then I started pulling the team together. And I was very lucky to stay on that project for 2.5 years. And after 2.5 years, I knew what this industry is about, what are the gaps, because that project never got succeeded 100%. That microgrid project only succeeded to 60% because there were so much innovations we were trying to do, and there was a lot of trial and errors. And there was a lot of
laid
failures.
path for your future project,
Yes, absolutely.
right? It gave you the understanding of what needs to be done, what you don't need to do. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, Himanshu. That gave me an idea what I need to do. But
Yeah.
on that note, I would say that selling the software was not on my mind at that day. I thought that I got to do everything
Yeah.
from engineering, construction, procurement, software maintenance, management, energy management, that everything. That's how the solution I want to sell.
Yeah.
The big question was, who's going to buy? I have not done a single one. And how much can you sell on a whiteboard?
Yeah. So how did you deal with that?
Again, like I said, you will find somebody in this country who will give you an opportunity. And I was lucky enough to present to this big business owners. I went and tried to sell the hotels, multifamily apartments, gas stations, resorts, you name it, farms, everywhere. And then one of them clicked.
Yeah.
And I told them, I've not done it before, but here are the references, what I've done before. I do understand engineering, and as long as it's drawn on the engineering drawing, it will work. So leap of faith, right? And so you need, somebody gives you an opportunity, then say, yeah. So I started with that. But since we knew what did not work at the previous project, I laid down a very rock solid, watertight design. It has to work. And we started that new microgrid project. So a lot of people may not know what microgrid, we got to tell them, right? So what you produce, production of the energy, storage of the energy, and distribution of the energy all together is called a microgrid. Okay. And the software, of course, plays a big role to manage the entire energy. And so that's how it started. And it's going right now. That's what my focus is today.
Good. So yeah, you mentioned a couple of those things, right? So you mentioned multifamily apartments. And I do agree with you. I think that's a very good area where this can be implemented, because I look at a lot of these apartment buildings, and you will see a lot of these have these carports, right? And those carports, it's a real estate which is already there. All you're doing is you're making use of that real estate, and you're putting it to, you can put solar panels and you can connect microgrids to it. So in a bigger complex, this could be a good way of getting into renewable in a way, and then also cutting your cost and putting in more efficiency and utilizing the real estate that you already have. So I think it's a very good and positive solution for people to look at, right?
Yeah.
And yeah.
It actually, a lot of people may not know this, but it actually increases the value of your property. It's inevitable that the fuel kind of direction is going to be very expensive as we go in the future, especially for the people who owns this kind of large properties and have an electricity bill anywhere from $10,000 to $50,000. They should immediately jump on getting their entire system built off the grid. You grid connected, but you must produce your own. You have space, you have parking lot, you have roof space, you have extra land around your property. It's a no-brainer.
Like golf courses, right?
Yeah, golf courses and all that. It's like absolutely no-brainer. Government gives you some incentives as well. But apart from the incentive, it also becomes your more responsibility to reduce your carbon footprint, right? And saving money is just the byproduct. It's by default, you're going to save money.
Yeah, for any industry too. Yeah.
And so you shouldn't think twice. Immediately reach out to your local companies and start with a good electrical engineering company, not the construction company. You should not be calling construction company. Call somebody who understands how to build this whole microgrid system. If you're producing energy through solar or wind, but the downstream of that part where you manage your energy, connect your entire electrical system of your property, that's where you have to put the technology and idea. Solar panel is the 5% of the project cost. That's nothing. But the overall aspect of your business, what's your future, how you look at your business, what's your business model. If you are a golf course, and the golf course has ballroom and where you do these events, you don't want to be without power on the day. Or if you're farms, if you're warehouse 24/7, you want that kind of energy.
So you're talking about backup power, right?
Yeah, everything. Produce it, store it, and everything. And then, save money. You're gonna save money. There is no doubt about it. This ROI is beautiful. Everybody who is running this kind of a business, they should jump on it.
Yeah. So you were talking about something while we were discussing this. You mentioned something about demand power, right? You said for businesses and industries, the way these utilities charge you, they don't charge you just based on what you're consuming, but they are charging you based on the demand power that you that the highest peak that you have consumed in a day. I think that's what, at any point of time, that's
Right.
what they use for calculating your total usage. No, it's not just the usage, it's based on the demand. So what is that concept? And
That's actually a good question to understand how utility company charges you. It's not easy when you look at this. Forget about your house. House is nothing. But when you look at the business, you will realize there are two aspects to that. One is the usage, one is the demand charge. Demand charge is the fees that they charge you for the infrastructure. So if, say, for example, it's your resort, right? You have your entire restaurant is on full throttle. Your charging station is on full throttle. Your all the rooms are booked, all air conditioning is a full throttle. Your building is consuming maximum energy at this point. Guess what? That's where it's called the peak of usage. If your peak is like 120 kilowatt or 350 kilowatt or something number, they will charge you for the rest of the month. So your peak charges are in $75 per kilowatt kind of rate. So usage is only 30 to 40% of your energy bill. The main 70% is the infrastructure bill. So that when you break in on the podcast, I'm trying to keep it at a high level, but that's a two aspect of it. The first is the consumption, but with Microgrid, you're going to solve the second part.
yeah,
And that is how you're going to peak shave it. How do you smartly manage your energy going into your property? Plus the production that you do with the solar,
yeah,
you should have a compatible infrastructure to optimize that energy and produce better and plan it better for your facility. And that's why you should look at as a holistic picture of your property. Maybe you will have to upgrade your main electrical distribution panel. Maybe you have to upgrade your transformer.
yeah.
So you have to look at it. And when you're doing projects like this, you're not only just producing energy, you're actually revamping your entire infrastructure.
And that's what you guys do as
Yeah,
Smart
we
Share.
help you to define where you need those upgrades and what kind of system you need, and looking at your future. Suppose you're expanding your hotel, you're adding more rooms, or you're adding more ballrooms, whatever. You're adding more charging stations, 3L, 2 levels. So all of that, I think that's where we help and give you a good solution, since we do entire engineering ourselves, design ourselves. And then we partner with all big tier 1 companies in terms of electrical components like GE or ABB, you name it. We work with all of them.
Okay.
A lot of big energy storage companies, Tesla, Generic,
Okay.
CATL, all of them. So yeah, for a business owners, that is, they should do it.
Okay.
There's no question about it. सूरज भगवान उगेंगे,
Mm-hmm.
रोज सुबह आपकी एनर्जी प्रोड्यूस होगी,
Mm-hmm.
और आपको उस वो जो महा का यूटिलिटी कंपनी सामने खड़ी है आपका पैसा सक करने के लिए, उसको आप बाय बाय बोलेंगे. और ये बड़े सिंपल टर्म में, ठीक है.
That's good. So, okay. So, tell me, when did you realize that, you have made it? Do you think you have made it, or you think you're still on?
I
onto
think
something?
this is a good question, actually, Himanshu, for people who want to be in part of the renewable energy business, right? Selling energy is a good example. Selling energy is a recurring money. You invest
Yeah.
and go and tell them, don't worry about it. We're going to build, you just pay us 20 or 30% less than what utility company is doing. And then that becomes your recurring money. But for that, you have to make sure that your system is super your maintenance of your infrastructure is to the minimums. Once you install it, it should go by cruise control kind of thing. But to do that, you keep evolving yourself. The design needs to be refined.
Yeah.
And every site is different. So you cannot just go a template based approach.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure that you are on top of the technology. Right. So to the people who are listening, the future is very different going to be for how the energy will be used on your property. If you're going to stick with the grid, good luck. What you pay today at 10% interest rate, 10% price rate increase you'll be paying double every 5 years, 6 years,
Mm.
and your electricity bill going to become a major operational cost for your property.
Yeah. Especially with AI coming in, they're talking about that the energy consumption has gone or it has gone up and it will
Yeah,
keep going up with all these data centers and all these. I think there's going to be a
yeah.
huge shortage of energy. So there has to be a major investment that needs to be done in this generation of power.
It's a ripple effect.
Yeah.
So the AI is already causing a lot of trouble, right?
Mm.
You cannot get an electrical
Mhm.
panel
Yeah.
delivered in less than 10 months
Yeah.
now because of this. All the chips are gone there. The utility companies are just struggling to produce that much energy to feed your data center.
Yeah.
No matter what you say, I don't want data center in my backyard. There is no alternate. There's no alternate. You have to have the data center. People tweet on their Twitter, I don't want on my backyard. Guess what? The Twitter is running on your data center or whatever it is called, X
Yeah.
nowadays.
Yeah.
So, yes, for the future, I think the AI will not only cost trouble, that the price will increase for your cost. The electricity bill is going to go over the roof. And for both residential and business owners, energy independence is very important. And this is in your hand. You don't have to ask anybody. The sun rises and sets, and you don't have to worry about it. You're completely independent of those people. And if you invest today, all the infrastructure of electrical infrastructure that manages your energy production gonna last for 50 to 60 years. That has a big lifespan, okay? From all the way transformer to the electrical panels and distribution panel and breakers and switches and everything has a big life. So you don't have to worry about. So do it today.
So what about maintenance of all this? Is that an issue?
No, obviously, maintenance in terms of electrical components, very little. Just cleaning of the solar panel is nothing for your business.
Nothing that you have to do on
No,
on
you
a
can.
regular
There's
basis.
a lot of people who comes and clean just like you wash your
Okay.
windows. It's no big deal. But your main pieces, which is your battery system, your inverters, your electric panels, your distribution panel, all those have a big life. You don't have to worry about that part. And the companies do support you for that.
Okay.
That should not sway you away from not getting energy.
I think that's one thing that people would have. Okay, now I'm adding all these pieces to my business.
Yeah.
Is this an extra maintenance, an extra issue? So, but it's not that big of a deal. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. So now I think I'm getting towards the section of my podcast where we talk about. We ask for a couple of things. One is, what is one principle in life that has worked for you? What is your guiding principle? So, what would you say a principle that has worked well for you all your life and in business? So is there any book or any quote or anything that you live by?
Himanshu, I think one comes internally. One thing comes for me why I started doing business. It was not always about me. It was always about others. I don't know. It sounds very poetic, but it's actually the truth. That's how I'm wired, at least. And I feel that if people associated with me can find their path and I'm able to support multiple life with their livelihood and I produce something that I like and they like what they want, I think that's what make me happy to do this. I want my customer to be more happier than what I make money out of this business. And that's, I think, has been a core of what do you call that? The aspect of why I wanted to do this business.
So taking care of the customer, doing what is right for the customer
Yes,
first,
exactly.
and then whatever comes through.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the people associated with me along with my journey.
Yeah. Not just customers, but that you're associated.
Yeah. I think it comes from my cooking.
Yeah.
Because I like cooking. It's not about eating. I do eat. I love food, right? But I love feeding people more than eating food. I think that's the core in me. That's what I like.
Okay. Good.
But yeah, go ahead.
So yeah. So the next thing this is something that I check and that I asked all my guests to talk about. And this is more so in terms of purpose, in terms of what is legacy to you? What does legacy mean to you? A lot of people talk about that I'm doing this for legacy or I'm doing this for financial freedom. So the shift that you have done, you started a business, you are running a business now, and you are running a business which is into renewables. So what's your purpose or what do you think in your mind what's the legacy that you're trying to leave? That's one. And then second, what is financial freedom? What does it mean what would it mean to you?
Oh, it's a good loaded question. So, when it comes to legacy, I can just tell you, Himanshu, that very few people get this I don't take it for granted. I think, like somebody said, having a problem is a privilege. Having a stress in the not stress, I would say challenge is a privilege. I feel myself very privileged in that sense. To answer your question, today's energy sector, the way it is for the renewable, it's I would call as a DOS time of, in
Yeah. Okay.
computer science.
Going back to the DOS
DOS,
system.
yeah. It's just the beginning. What's the future is just amazing.
Mhm.
I feel the future is going to be so different. Maybe there will be a very small 2 feet by 2 feet of a small box of nuclear power plant in your house.
Ah.
No wires, nothing. And every house comes with that. A lifetime. You're not paying anybody any energy bill or nothing. I think that's the future. That's how I see it. And during this is just the beginning. So what legacy? I would say if you make a small attempts like this, maybe there will be something will come out of this. Somebody's looking at it differently. How not always the solution comes from the existing what's there, right?
Yeah.
So maybe whatever we are doing actually paving
It's
path,
just it's
path
just
for other people to
path
invent
for the other
and
people
see how
because you
what we
kind
did
of
it.
build on it, right?
I tell you, when we did one of this project, Microgrid in San Ramon, the utility company people came to inspect our electrical panel, which took 28 months to build in by Siemens in Germany because they have never done this before. And the lady who came from the utility company to inspect was taking selfie with that panel because selfie with the metal panels and pretty much you cannot see anything else. Everything is behind it. But she has never seen like that. And she said, oh my gosh, I haven't seen. She was taking pictures with that. So that tells me that, oh, it's new. And so I see the future in renewable energy is humongous. You just do any part of it, whether from production to storage, from distribution, or any other things, even the trade. I think that's the legacy I would leave for what I started. People can pick something from there and make it better. That's great. That's what I feel
That's
that.
good. Yeah.
What was your other question again?
Financial freedom? What is?
Financial freedom is a byproduct. I don't know. Everybody wants, of course, we are all here. We want financial freedom. We want to retire properly and having no background, and be ourselves. Coming to this country as an immigrant, my story and every immigrant story is same. Nobody came with billions of dollars here.
Yeah.
Somebody came with $20. Somebody came with $250. I
Yeah.
came with $350, but
Yeah.
I bought that Budweiser beer for $3.50. But I tell you, there's so many good stories. Or almost every
Yeah.
immigrant I hear a similar story that everybody starts from scratch.
Yeah. There's
What-
a lot of hard work that goes into
Yeah.
it. It's not.
Even though it is not fancy looking renewable, it's still you have contributed something.
Yeah.
But I always say, if you are, whether you do a job, whether you do a business, as long as you're focused, you know you're marketable in the industry, your financial stability will be there.
Yeah.
But when you start thinking that you are getting obsolete, it is the time to rethink. You can
Yeah.
never be obsolete. The knowledge that you have gained, there is
Yeah.
nothing called obsolete. Okay, so all the knowledge that you have gained, whether it's a software industry knowledge or running a restaurant or doing whatever you have done before, it's going to help you in the future, any new business you do.
Yeah. Especially people like us and 50 plus. When you're looking at recalibrating and when you're looking at doing things, you have already done what you want, what you have enjoyed, or whatever whatever your path was. But to me, I think if somebody wants to make a change, now is a good time for you to make that kind of a change, to do what fulfills you, what adds a purpose to your life, right? It could be doing a business, it could be following your passion. Why go back and look for a job rather than that? Why don't start something new? You might start something which can lead into something great, right? So now I think we are all worried about the future. For that reason, we have not lived our life in a way truly. We have always been very safe and secure, right? I think typically that's an immigrant mentality, right? That's how we have been. So to me, I think this is the golden era. This is the time when you can do whatever you want to do. Like we have a business knowledge, we have the acumen, we have the expertise of the business, and with AI, there are a lot of possibilities that you can do, right? So now is the time to explore these kind of recalibrations that you want to do, right?
Yeah, and
Mhm.
like you said it right. Any age is a good age.
Yeah.
Just start any day you like. जैसे हमारे महापुरुष कह गए अनिल कपूर जी समय होता नहीं है,
Yeah.
समय निकालना पड़ता है।
Yeah.
तो समय निकालिए और अपने उस चीज को ढूंढिए
Yeah.
जो आपके अंदर है और रास्ता निकलेगा। क्यों नहीं
Yeah.
निकलेगा रास्ता?
Yeah.
एक्चुअली कई बार हम ये सोचते हैं यार हम रिटायर होना चाहते हैं, 55 के हो गए। गलत बात ये है कि आप कभी रिटायर हो ही नहीं सकते। मन से आप कभी रिटायर नहीं हो सकते। ऑलवेज थिंकिंग जो इन्वेस्टमेंट किया है उसको तो कैसे रिकैलिब्रेट करें, कैसे और इन्वेस्ट करें तो मेरा पैसा बनते रहे। यू नो, एक तो वो बात है। दूसरी ये है कि अम, क्या कुछ ऐसा किया जाए एट द एज ऑफ 50-55 एंड यू नो थोड़ी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी कम भी हो जाती
Yeah.
है, बच्चे चले जाते हैं कॉल।
Mm.
दिस इज द बेस्ट टाइम।
Yeah.
This is the best time. People are looking
Mm.
for experience like us, you know,
Mm.
contribute करने के लिए।
Yeah.
और अगर हम लोग ही पीछे हट जाएंगे
Mhm.
तो फिर जो
Yeah.
नॉलेज हमने गेन किया है वो आगे कैसे बढ़ेगा? तो even if you have done a different kind of job
Yeah.
before, don't worry about it. Just
Yeah.
try something. I tell you, there is every business owner will
Mhm.
agree with me that there is not always the graph goes up.
Yeah.
There will be a time when the graph and it will dip like crazy. You will hit your rock bottom. There is no money. There's no money coming from anywhere. But guess what? There is something still in the market. Your product, your name. Even you're not making money, but they're still there. You still have that spark and little fire in there. So just restart it.
Yeah.
Restarting is a great thing. I did it. You know what happened? 2
Yeah.
years with my father in India, and I went there. My business suffered drastically. When I came back, every single day, 5:30 in the morning,
Yeah.
I get up and start thinking about what I need to do next, and I've kept reinventing myself. And so found a way. I found some solutions here and there, and then you start. And you get a solution. As long as you have something in the market that you have done before, even though you're changing your line, doesn't matter. The industry looks at you as you have done a business before. If you're doing something new, I would stay with your skills.
Yeah.
Stay what knowledge you have in the industry. Don't just jump like आज मैं restaurant खोलूंगा।
Yeah.
फिर तो
I mean,
वही
it
बात
has to be
नहीं है।
driven by something. Either
Something.
it has to be driven by a skill,
Yeah.
it has to be driven by a passion,
Yeah.
something where you know you have something to contribute.
And you can be successful any business you can run.
Yeah.
You can open a grocery store, you can open a car shops and whatever you can do, as long as you follow the fundamentals.
There's something, some purpose
you know.
to it. The key thing is going to be why it is important to you and what keeps you driving, what
And
keeps you motivated.
also be associated with the market research people. Do your research
Yeah.
properly, and then
So now I think we're just towards the end of our show. So the last thing,
पूछना।
easy question, बहुत easy है ये
वो
वाला.
कितना टफ क्वेश्चन पूछा भाई और बहनों।
तो ये क्वेश्चन है कि आज जो लोग पॉडकास्ट सुन रहे हैं, राइट, अगर उनको बोला जाए कि इफ आई आस्क यू क्या से व्हाट शुड पीपल टेक अवे फ्रॉम दिस पॉडकास्ट, फ्रॉम दिस जर्नी दैट यू वी जस्ट शेयर्ड, तो तुम्हारी जर्नी से वो क्या टेक अवे होना चाहिए किसी के लिए भी जो कि इंस्पायरिंग और मोटिवेटिंग हो, व्हाट वुड दैट बी?
ये है कि यू नो कई बार लोग सोचते हैं कि मुझे ये फील्ड नहीं मालूम है, मैं कैसे जाऊंगा। डोंट वरी अबाउट इट। आई थिंक टेक अवे यही होना चाहिए कि मेरी जर्नी बहुत डिफरेंट फील्ड से गुजरी है और उसमें से धीरे थोड़ा सा पकड़ के मैंने आगे बढ़ा हूँ। उसी तरह से आई वुड से फॉलो योर ड्रीम, फॉलो योर पैशन, और समथिंग यू आर एंटरिंग इनटू ब्रांड न्यू फील्ड, डोंट वरी अबाउट इट। Take risk and take risk no matter what age you are at. You must take risk, not to just make money but to do something for the community, for the people. And here's a small example. Sorry we are at end, but I have to tell you this. It was Sandy Hook when it happened, and it was so bad, right? And we know we are living this kind of environment and it's not in our control, but we could do something. And here's what happens in the relationship, right? My son plays baseball. At that time, it was in middle. I think it was in middle elementary school, and the coach was the chief of police of the town. And he used to talk to me about my business. When I told him what I do, He said, why don't we do this something for the city, for the people? And our SWAT team, when goes in there to attend something like this kind of scenario, we don't know a lot of things, so much unknown. We don't know where the buildings are, we don't know where the locations of the utilities are, and there are other things as well. So can we build something like that? And I said, sure. And then we started with that concept. With what trigger? It gives you pain. That pain gave me an idea of what to build next.
Yeah.
So we did something, and the product is in the market. We support law enforcement in that area to help them out in their operations. But so takeaway is this: doesn't matter. See, a software, law enforcement, and IT and renewable energy doesn't matter.
Yeah.
As long as you know somewhere I can solve some problem, go for it.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. See a problem and just go for it.
Or
Yeah, and just keep it simple. You just need to
Yes.
figure it out. Yeah, things work out. Prashant, thanks for being on the show. I think it was a great chat. I think we enjoyed listening to you, listening to your journey. I hope you had good time too. And for the viewers, I hope you enjoyed this show. And if you're listening to, and I would request you to subscribe to our channel. So subscribing allows us to bring more of this content, more of this kind of journeys to you, unique journeys. And I think there's a lot to learn from each other. And I think that's the main thing that we are trying to do here is bring people with different journeys, different aspects, and share it and see if we can help and motivate each other. And हम मिलकर आगे बढ़ें.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks for listening to Recalibrate. If you found value today, please subscribe and share this with someone who's tired of just doing fine. Check the show notes for guest details. And until next time, keep building, keep growing, and keep inspiring. I'm Himanshu Jain signing off. Let's recalibrate.